Hi everyone, welcome back to this session of PMP drag and drop questions, perfect for preparing for your PMP exam. As always, these questions are based on the PMBOK guide, 7th edition, process groups, a practice guide, and the Agile practice guide. And we're going to go through things like definitions of project terms, the order of and process of things, and scenarios and problem solving for our drag and drop questions. You'll usually find between 2 and 10 of these questions on your PMP exam, but the real benefit of this is just getting up to speed, brushing up before your exam, doing a nice review. It's a fantastic way to get back up to speed. And of course, this will be made available in my Udemy course, currently the highest rated PMP course on Udemy, which is absolutely fantastic. Go and check that out if that's the sort of thing that you like. Let's get into the first question. Development approaches. Activities are performed once for the project with a single delivery at the end. That sounds like a predictive or a waterfall method, or a traditional method, they might call it as well. Activities are repeated until correct based on feedback. So repeated until correct with a single delivery at the end. That sounds to me like we're iterating towards success there until the end. Activities are performed once for a given increment. So just for a particular increment, for each increment, we must be using an incremental approach. Let's have a look. And activities are repeated until correct. So we've got a little bit of this. And then with frequent small deliveries, those two things are a combination to form Agile. So Agile is actually iterative and incremental at the same time. And lastly, combines any elements of predictive and adaptive development approaches to get the job done. That's our hybrid approach, and that could be using a waterfall method with Kanban boards and information radiators, or it could be doing an Agile method with proper sponsor approval and change control. Depending on how you want to swing it, there's many different ways to look at it. Let's have a look at how we did, and that all came through page 15 in the Process Groups Practice Guide, Project and Development Life Cycles. Fantastic. How did you go with that one? All right, Agile collaboration approaches. And we've got mobbing, pairing, and swarming. Emily asks the team to work in pairs to complete work, check, and learn together. They are pair programming, or it could be side-by-side programming, or pair programming, or just pairing if it's knowledge work or something else other than programming. An issue is raised during stand-up, and multiple team members meet afterwards to solve it quickly. They are swarming around the issue. So that's what we want to do, try and solve those issues quickly. Oliver is a portfolio owner impacted by a recent change and asks multiple teams to come together for an outcome. They are mobbing. They're creating a mob, and that's all coming together, many different teams. Let's have a look at how we did. And that is wonderful stuff. Agile Practice Guide, page 152 under definitions, if you want to check that out for yourself. All right, Agile tools. Henry asks the team to display project information in the team location, such as backlogs and risks, or backlog, I should say. He is looking at the information radiator with all of our team project information where anyone can see it at any time. Haley gathers the team around a visual tool used to track and manage workflow during a stand-up. A visual tool track and manage workflow. Sounds like a Kanban board to me. And if you remember our Kanban board, it's going to have a few different columns here. And we're going to move our user stories from in progress all the way to done right at the end there. So we're tracking that workflow. Lucas needs to see the planned trend of the work versus the actual trend of the work. And you remember this one. This is our planned trend. And then the actual trend of the work, that is our burn down chart. Exactly right. That just leaves us with one. Alice needs to know how many story points the team could complete in the next sprint during sprint planning. And that's going to be our velocity chart. Now, if you haven't seen that before, we've got the story points that we planned, the story points we completed, planned, completed, planned, completed, planned, completed. And that gives us an average of the velocity or the story points that we can complete. And we use that for our sprint planning to keep a sustainable pace so we're not doing hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. And all of that to say, we got those correct, and I hope you did too. Page 150 under definitions in the Agile practice guide. A wonderful way to get up to speed. All right, number 44, some more Agile artifacts. Some of my favorite artifacts, actually. The user stories the team decides that they can complete in a sprint. That's going to be our sprint backlog. The prioritized list of features, that's our product backlog. And who owns the product backlog? Can you tell me? It is the product owner, exactly right. And adjusting the backlog to balance the highest cost risks with the highest value features. Risks versus features, we have a risk-adjusted backlog. So we're delivering some solutions to risks, but also delivering some value. We're adjusting it for risk. Part of the feature that is small enough to complete in a sprint, that's going to be our user story. And let's check those out. That has come through page 152, definitions in the Agile practice guide. Wonderful stuff. Okay, Agile decomposition. Oh, this is good. OKRs, user stories, and epics. And what have we got? A larger feature or deliverable, or a collection of stories around a central theme. That's going to be our epic. So epics basically are like a deliverable, and then we break those down into user stories. So where's that one? A description of an end user's need that can be completed within an iteration. Similar to a work package in a traditional project. So you call them user stories or call them work packages. We're assigning them to a person so that they can complete them. But what's an OKR? That is an objective and a key result. An enterprise-led strategic direction, that's our objective, shown as a business goal, with a way to measure it, that is our key result, OKRs. Let's have a look. And there we are, fantastic stuff. Agile Practice Guide, page 150 under definitions. And we're also just over halfway through this little section. Well done. Keep going, guys. You're doing great. Request for quote. All right, or what have we got? Emma isn't sure on what solution a particular vendor can provide. She needs more information. Request for information. The project team have a complex problem that can be to be solved by a vendor. They're going to need a proposal from that vendor on what they can do about the problem. The PMO have a clear set of criteria that can be found in the market from multiple vendors. All they need is a price. They just need a request for quote or RFQ. Let's have a look. And that is good, looking good. Page 75, the bid process under the PMBOK Guide 7th edition from 2021. Fantastic. All right, what have we got? Procurement contracts. When scope is straightforward and requirements are well defined, we can use a fixed price contract because we don't need anything fancy here. It's just fixed price. Everything is straightforward. But when you want to incentivize the seller, or if works are expected to change, incentivizing them, we're going to use cost reimbursable contract. So that's when there's a set cost, and if they come in under that cost, then they get a bonus, basically, or they get the difference between the cost and what we were going to pay them anyway. So cost reimbursable. Useful when a precise statement of work is not available. We can just use time and materials. How much does your time cost? How much do the materials cost? And keep working until the job is done. And there it is. That's come through at page 191, agreements and contracts. Fantastic. And only a few to go in this little section. And what we're looking at now is cost management. Oh, I love this stuff. Cost management is great. So what do we do with contingency reserves, management reserves? If it's set aside to deal with planned risks, that is a contingency. It's our contingency reserves. If it's set aside for unexpected activities related to in-scope work, that is our management reserves. And you don't often find these in the real world. Sometimes budgets just don't have this. But it is a nice thing to have as a just in case or as a final Hail Mary if you need more money to come through. All of the work package costs plus the contingency reserve is our cost baseline. And then all of the cost baseline plus the management reserves become our project budget overall. And so That is exactly what we're looking for. PMBOK Guide 7th edition, page 62 under budget. How did you guys go with that one? It's such a great way to brush up on all of this information before taking the exam. Last two for this section, Agile concepts, leading by serving the team, that sounds familiar to me, removing blockers and facilitating growth. We are doing servant leadership, maintaining a manageable workload that allows the team to effectively work over the long term. We are keeping a sustainable pace. And that's why we use our velocity chart to make sure that we're matching our work to the previous velocity. When a developer, tester, or a business representative meet to elicit user stories, those are our three amigos, or the triad of those, the developer, tester, and customer, we might call them too. Stable, long-term, consistent teams that perform better over time are stable teams. And those are the teams we want so they can grow that intellectual property and information about the system. And then we get into that performing stage for Tuckman's ladder, which is also really, really good. And that is correct. Wonderful stuff. How did you guys go with that one? Page 34 in the Agile Practice Guide, if you want to check that out. Servant leadership empowers the team. And we're up to the last one for this section, which is absolutely fantastic. More Agile concepts and lots of concepts for Agile on the exam that you'll see, so this is perfect. Quality is integrated and maintained throughout every phase of development. From requirements to development, we are building in quality at every step. The project team plans near-term work in detail and further away items at a high level. They are rolling wave planning. So that's what we describe that. And you'll see that concept come up pretty much everywhere. There's always rolling wave planning going on. The team removes silos by including everyone they need to deliver the project or the product. They are using the whole team approach, getting everyone involved. The team information is clearly available to everyone so they can self-manage their work. They're using visual management. And all of these, or most of these, come from the Toyota production system originally, which is a great way to see where Agile came from. And that's come through as correct, page 150 under definitions. And what else is correct is the way that you are going through and learning every day to improve yourself so that you can pass the PMP exam. I know you can do it, and I believe with the work that you're putting in, you will pass the PMP exam. Keep going, keep improving. I believe in you. I'll see you in the next video.